I love it when saves get to that point where you're hitting new milestones all the time. And today, yet again, we have another biggest ever game in the history of Nuneaton Town Football Club. Hello and welcome to part 117 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we are at home against Manchester United in the FA Cup fourth round. We also have a home game against Portsmouth in the league. Since you were last with me, hold on, where's the right button? Since you were last with me, this is what we've been up to. We were doing fine. Everything was good, including a ridiculous 7-2 win, and then we drew Manchester United in the FA Cup. And as usual, when you have a big cup game on the horizon, everyone starts to bottle it and get nervous, and it just seems to always be the way in the lead up to a big cup game. We just start losing matches, so we have fallen outside of the playoff picture, just temporarily, and we are allowed to talk about it now because, you know, I think on 45 points after 29 games, we're not getting relegated. So now we're not getting relegated, it's safe to try. We're probably going to finish mid-table, and that'll be absolutely fine, but we're 1 point outside of the playoffs, and we're only 6 points outside of the automatic promotion spots. It's fine to try, but we're not going to be bothered if we don't get it. We're not going to get too overexcited and ahead of ourselves. But first, we do have a potential money spinner against Manchester United, which we need. If you look at our finances, we're £1.7 million in the red, which is a problem, and the projection isn't looking like it's going to improve anytime soon. It's a bit of a shame that this game is at home because obviously with our 6,000 capacity, we're not going to fit as many people into the ground as we would if it was at Old Trafford. But never let the lack of money stop Kev from going out and spending, because I've bought 2 midfield players that I didn't really need. Actually, I would argue I kind of did, because they're different midfield players from the type that we already had. Both natural deep-lying playmakers, which is a bit of a weakness in that midfield that we put together over the summer. And this guy was an absolute steal. Levi Hayes, 22-year-old Irish under-21 international. 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. He's been playing regularly for Ipswich all season in the Championship. Ipswich, I know they're in the bottom half of the Championship, but he's got he's got like 50 career appearances in the Championship. He's 22 and he has bags of potential, and we got him for an absolute steal at £225,000 because he was out of contract at the end of the season. We actually fought off competition from quite a few fellow Championship clubs to get this guy, but then he got sent off in the first half of his debut, which was grand. So we also went out and bought our backup option, Sam Allen, who I think might be a little bit of a mistake, but you know, we lost Anderson to a season-ending injury. We needed to bolster the midfield out a little bit. So Sam Allen, a little bit older than our normal player, 26 years old, 3-star current ability. He comes in from Barnet, having never played a game in the Championship before. So kind of the opposite, but you know, he got an assist fairly early on. And this is the team that we're going to be playing against Manchester United. Obviously, neither of those in, because they're both cup-tied. Brilliant. So we've got Wade in goal, a back four of O'Brien, Hughes, Taggart and Ibrahim, with Barber, Lenton and Denny in midfield, and then Richardson in behind Ruggles and Stainsby. That front three are in incredible form. Hopefully they can carry it over into this match against Manchester United today. As we said with the Newcastle game in the last round, the absolute perfect ideal scenario in this match is that we get a draw so that we can have a replay back at Old Trafford and take the money. Old Trafford presumably is still the biggest ground in English League football, and it is, I don't care about their players, which means it's the highest possible FA Cup payoff that we can possibly get unless we go and win the whole thing, which obviously we're not going to do. So as much as it's fun to, let's beat another Premier League team and then get away to Liverpool or Arsenal or somebody in the next round, that's not going to pay as much as a draw today would and a Manchester United game in the next round. Obviously, the most likely scenario, though, is that we get absolutely thumped and lose about 9-0. So don't be surprised if that happens. But the dream is a draw. That would be even better than a win. And you might even see me, if we're 2-0 up with 5 minutes to go, we might take off the goalkeeper or something just to try and manufacture that draw. Because I reckon an away tie against Manchester United in the FA Cup, it's got to be worth £800,000 to a club like ours. It wipes out half of our debt if we can somehow pull it off. So it is a very weird situation to go into a match knowing that, it'd be lovely to win it. It'd be lovely for the motivation and lovely for the shape of our season as a whole and for my managerial CV. But for the actual history of the club and the future of the club, We want a draw. Let's just keep it at 0-0. Blow the whistle now. So Taggart plays it forward to Lenton, back to Ibrahim. Look, we're knocking the ball around against Manchester United. This is ridiculous. Stainsby into Ruggles. We almost scored a wonder goal against Manchester United, and that would have just been insane. And Darragh O'Brien showing that he's suddenly turned into a decent left back after all those red cards early in the season. He's just made a cracking tackle against a Manchester United player. I still can't believe we're playing Manchester United. I never thought we'd reach this point of this save. Obviously, the dream is still to get us into the Premier League, win the Champions League, all that stuff. But you've watched enough of my videos now to know just how unlikely it is that we'll ever get that good. So to have a game against Manchester United in these circumstances is awesome and does give us that little bit of confidence that you never know. We might actually get promoted at some point if we can hold our own against Premier League teams on a regular basis. We've already done it against Newcastle. Manchester United are the best team in the country. And we're half hour in and we're not losing yet, which is remarkable. Taggart to Ibrahim, to Lenton again. This group of players on our right-hand side have knocked the ball around beautifully today. The left-hand side not really contributing to the attacks yet. It's all coming down this right-hand side. Lenton getting involved in lots of stuff. But there's Barber, plays it to Stainsby, and he crosses to Ruggles, who's just had another clear-cut chance. That's 2 clear-cut chances for Chris Ruggles in this game so far, and I hope we don't live to rue them. Stainsby, out to Ibrahim again. He's on a yellow card already. He needs to watch himself a little bit. Big, deep cross, and no one gets on the end of it. But it comes back to Lenton, and now with Barber to Ruggles again with another chance. And Chris Ruggles, at the third time of asking, has scored for Nuneaton Town against Manchester United. Something that can now never happen in real life because they've gone back to Nuneaton Borough today, I understand. I saw on Twitter. But in this world, we'll forever Nuneaton Town. And Chris Ruggles has just scored against Manchester United. And I don't even know what to think at this point because we are winning against Manchester United. And we don't really want to. Barber to Richardson, Lenton, Barber again. Look at how we're knocking the ball around Richardson. And finally, United get a foot in, and presumably this is where their equaliser comes. Yeah, I think we've woken them up a little bit by grabbing that early goal. They'll now go and get their 4, 5, 6 goals. But that was, imagine the fun you'd have as an Nuneaton fan for those few minutes where we were in the lead in the FA Cup against Manchester United. Would you have ever, at any point, no matter how the rest of your life as an Nuneaton Town fan goes, would there ever be a time when you sang louder than you sang for those 5 minutes where we were leading Manchester United? Madness. Right, let's hopefully not concede just before half-time because then we'll go in with our heads down and we absolutely don't deserve to. We've just had an incredible first half. Those ratings, all of them in the 6s, do not do it justice at all for the team performance in the context of this game. But we have conceded just before half-time. And it's a real shame because we didn't deserve it. And again, I think we're probably let down by not having a very good goalkeeper. And I know it's been the story of the last 10 seasons, but you've got to expect Wade to do a little bit better with that one. There's not like he could have done about the first one. It was a typical Nuneaton goal conceded. A ball over the top, defenders too slow, goal. We all know how that story goes. But that one, you'd back Wade to save that most of the time. Ibrahim tries to get another one of his deep crosses in to grab an equaliser just on the stroke of half-time, but it doesn't come off. And he needs to watch himself a little bit. He is on a yellow card, and here's going to be 3 before half-time. Oh, he hits it wide. That would have been really sad, because we absolutely wouldn't have deserved that. And Man United have now woken up, and I think we're probably in for a rather punishing second half. But let's get straight into it. We edged possession in that first half. We've been even for clear-cut chances. I mean, look at those stats. Take the team names out and just look at the stats. That looks like an even game of football. And we're playing Manchester United. There's so much we can be proud of coming out of this game. It's just utterly ridiculous. I don't think we'd look that out of place in the Premier League. This gives me the confidence to push on and commit to trying to get promoted this season. Because this is Manchester United. And we're fairly evenly matched with them. Obviously, they've got better strikers and a better goalkeeper. So that's going to be the difference maker at the end of the day. But in the actual nitty-gritty meat of the match, it's been completely even. And, I feel very proud. We're 3-1 down now. So, we're obviously not going to get that draw that we dreamed of. But if Manchester United have got a sporting bone in their bodies, They just give us £500,000 as a tap on the back, nod on the head, and a tap on the back. Neither of those are things that you do. A pat on the back. Don't tap us on the head. Just a pat on the back would be nice. Well done. You battled valiantly. Here, have our Bovril revenue for one Champions League match. Because, we need the money. They don't. They can afford to give their Bovril away for free forever. But they don't. They charge £8 for it probably. And it's now 4-1. And the predicted destruction of us in the second half has happened. And it's probably going to continue. And could be about to get quite painful. I know there's going to be some of you saying, Kev, at this point you really should just try and lock down this game. I know my attitude has always been, if we're going to lose 4-1, we may as well lose 8-1. I'd rather lose 8-2 than 4-1, because at least we scored twice then. But I realise that we are running the risk of destroying the confidence of our defenders if we concede too many goals. But I hope it won't do that. It's Manchester United, after all. We shouldn't be expecting to do well against Manchester United. We should be very proud of what we've managed to achieve. 2 substitutions made. I should be taking Ibrahim off, but I don't have another right back on the bench, and I don't really want to play Josh Sawyer at right back against Man United. It just seems silly. There's Stainsby. Plays Russell in, and I thought Russell was going to grab another goal for us. 4-2 with 15 minutes to go, and you have to believe a little bit because the momentum's with us, and we can score goals. It's what we're good at. We've had 4 clear-cut chances each. If only we were good at scoring goals, says Captain Contradiction. Barber to Lenton. They're just knocking the ball back and forth between each other. The two of them had about 8 touches each before any other of the 20 players on the pitch got anywhere near the ball. They were just knocking it back and forth to each other for no reason at all. United are happy to let them do it. And we didn't have the creative spark to do anything else with it. No one was making any kind of run. Right, we are going to get Josh Sawyer on now because he's Josh Sawyer. He was playing for us in the conference. He deserves 10 minutes against Manchester United. And hopefully he doesn't cause too much damage while he's on there. Are we going to hold on? Hold on to 4-1. 4-1 I think is completely respectable in the circumstances, especially when you take into account just how well we played, especially in that first half. And hopefully this isn't going to cost us confidence and morale, because this is now 4 games without a win in all competitions. But I hope that, see, they're all upset. We need context, gentlemen. Right, we're going to go and play Portsmouth, but first, we have still got nearly £500,000 to spend, and the transfer window closes today. There might be one more dabble. We shall see. No further dabbles in the transfer market. We just couldn't find the right players who could strengthen the squad. To give you an idea of what we're up against with our £400,000 transfer budget, Brighton, who are bottom of the Championship, that's bottom of the league that we're in, have just spent £26 million on a goalkeeper. Just let that sink in for a minute. Brighton, bottom of the league we're trying to get promoted from, spent £26 million on a player who plays in the position we need to strengthen, and we've only got £400,000 to spend. That's why I can't find a goalkeeper. Few changes for the Portsmouth game, and Hugo comes back in goal because Wade made me sad. Sawyer comes back in at the back as well because Hughes made me kind of sad. And Alex Denny's picked up yet another injury. It's only to be expected when he's in his early 30s now. So Barron comes in to the midfield. You will potentially get the opportunity to see Sam Allen today, one of the new signings who's made it onto the bench. Plus, youngster Mick Hill, who came in the summer. He's on the bench as well, as we're suffering a little bit of a striker crisis with injuries. But at least we've still got Ruggles and Stainsby fit, and that's the important thing. We want to get back to winning ways today. It's been 4 games in all competitions without a victory. If we continue that run for another 2 or 3 games, I think any hopes we might have had of a playoff push are probably gone. This is game 30 of the season, so there is still 16 games left after this, so plenty of time to drag ourselves out of any kind of mess that we've got ourselves in up to this point. But it would be kind of nice to win 3 or 4 games on the trot now and get ourselves up into 3rd or 4th place and really start to scare a few people. That would be a lovely way to finish the season. Comfortable in the playoffs, flirting with automatic promotion. and then a nice little defeat at Wembley to fill the coffers up and avoid the Premier League for another season because we're just not ready and we'll get relegated. But as we showed, getting relegated from the Championship, relegation is not the end of the world. We're a small club finding our way in the universe. If we have to get a couple of relegations along the way to come back bigger and better and stronger, like we have done, then that's not a disaster. Although we are now 1-0 down at home and this could be 5 games without a win in all competitions. So much for this bigger and better and stronger lark. We've got 16 games left to drag ourselves into a relegation scrap if we don't win any more games. We're not going to do that though. We're going to show our intestinal fortitude, and we're going to get back into this game. We're going to win 8-1 today. Probably not 8-0 because they've already scored. 8-1. I feel like today's going to be one of those days where we score 8 goals. We've scored 7 a few times. I don't remember us scoring 8 goals at any point though, so today would be a nice day to do that. And it's Richardson had a good opportunity to grab us the first of the 8 that we've decided to score today. And as we approach the half-hour mark, not having scored any goals, it becomes more and more likely that we might not score 8 goals today, which would be a real shame. If it ends like this, we're still only 3 points outside of the playoff spots. Obviously doesn't tell the whole story though when you consider that we are in dirt poor form and we do need to turn that around. And we don't have much in the way of match winning options down on that bench because of the aforementioned injury crisis to our more attacking players. We've got Dan Fisher as a fit striker. Kent Wheatley is fit-ish but is the 6th lone player we've got at the moment. We can only have 5 in the squad. It's the reason Hugo wasn't in the squad at all against Manchester United, because Wheatley sat on the bench despite having an injury, and it just seems a little bit silly doing that. So Hugo's back in the team. For Wheatley to get back into the squad, we need to pick another lone player to bin off, and when we've got issues in midfield, it can't really be Barron, and we obviously need Taggart at the back and Ibrahim at the back. They're arguably our 2 best defenders. And what a goal from Albert Richardson. Don't even remember what I was saying now. I'm sure it was scintillating, but not as scintillating as that wonder goal from Albert Richardson, who, as this season has gone on, I think it's a sad day in many ways, but I think we can officially confirm Albert Richardson's our first choice attacking midfielder now. He has been for most of this season. James Ball has been a wonderful servant, but as you can see, he sat on the bench again today. He'll still get plenty of game time over the next few seasons. It's likely to be more and more often from the bench, though, as Richardson starts to really turn into a decent-looking Championship player. We're getting rewarded for the faith we showed in him. We had him on loan for 3 seasons, including, was it 2 seasons down in League One, or one of those was in League One maybe? And he really didn't impress in any of that time, but he had potential, and he had flashes of awesome. And now he's starting to do the awesome a little bit more often at the top end of the Championship. Although we've just conceded another goal. Hugo's not the answer in goal, is he? If only we had £26 million to spend on a goalkeeper. I mean, if we had £26 million, I wouldn't spend it all on a goalkeeper. Brighton are officially mental. But they did sell their goalkeeper for 11 million quid. It's Southampton's keeper they bought, actually. Does Southampton have an even better keeper than that they're playing? So they've got this guy in goal, who's 26. And so he came in from Fulham. So Southampton have bought Fulham's keeper for 4 million quid. I realise there's a match going on, but I'm watching the goalkeeper merry-go-round just to give you this context of why we can't buy a Championship quality goalkeeper. So Fulham have now got this guy in goal, who they bought for more money than we've got to spend from Newcastle. And Newcastle, he was their reserve, but that's like 4 or 5 goalkeeper transfers in this league in the January transfer window, all far too rich for our blood, and that's why we can't sign a goalkeeper. Right, let's get Ruggles off and bring on Dan Fisher. See if Dan Fisher's got another goal in him. He's getting very, very, very close to the all-time record goal scorer records now, and it would be a lovely day to do it today if he could grab a couple of goals, because I think he's no more than 3 or 4 goals away at this point, surely. So it would be nice for him to grab that right now. Let's bring James Ball on. Actually, let's not bring James Ball on. We bought Sam Allen for a reason. Let's get him into that midfield, playing in his natural position, and just shuffle a few players around. That looks like the best combination of those players. And you can have 10 minutes of seeing Sam Allen, not Sam Alien, Sam Allen in central midfield. You probably won't see him much beyond this season. He's kind of a temporary stopgap while Anderson's injured and Denny's old. But we needed an extra body in there. We've let Alex Hughes go out on loan because he was never going to be good enough for us. So Allen's just like a fairly cheap, fairly temporary solution to a problem, which if only we could do that in goal. Imagine being able to go out and buy a 3-star goalkeeper 100 grand. We wouldn't be moaning that he wasn't good enough then, like we probably all are with Allen, that he's a 3-star championship player. He cost us 100 grand. He's like our 6th choice central midfielder. It'd be lovely to be able to bring in a goalkeeper of that calibre. Stainsbury with the cross, no one's there to get on the end of it, and I think that was probably our last opportunity to drag a draw out of today's episode, but it's not to be, and we're going to end things to, still just 1 point outside of the playoffs, actually. This is a mad season in the Championship. We could conceivably still have a fairly straightforward playoff push. Is Ibrahim going to get himself sent off here? The match should have ended 30 seconds ago, but it's the slow walk over from the referee. This all seems a little bit dramatic if he's just booking him and blowing the final whistle. Surely, that's exactly what he's going to do. Yellow card, and then does this fella even take the free kick? Or is that just the end of the game? What a load... Doesn't even take the free kick. What a faffy, stupid Jobsworth way to end a football match. But we now have to go and win some games because it's been a while. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And, well, weekdays anyway at the moment. We'll be back to daily after the World Cup. And thank you very much for watching.